I started at the very bottom. I know I don't look it, but I got a PhD. I'm poor, hungry, and determined, sir.
Okay, I can see you're gonna be a weird one.
You know, when you see something like Flaming Hot, a movie, come across your streaming screen, you probably go ahead and actually have the same thought that I did. Cool. A gimmick made for TV, probably about as good enough for a Lifetime network television show. And very much like the people that went ahead and actually doubted the Flaming Hot Cheetos or any of those types of products, you'd be somewhat right, but mostly wrong. This is a story of overcoming the odds, hard work, family, and never giving up on your dreams. Flaming Hot is better than you think, and I'll show you why and how. For movies that tell a rags to riches story, I'm a sucker for them. If they're done right, I'm your main target audience. So I'm giving main target audience vibes here on this one, main character energy. But I'm gonna be fair and give some casual viewer perspectives too. You see, I watch movies that are exclusive to streaming platforms only to see if they're worth your time. Should they have gone and actually went back to the drawing board? Are they good enough for theaters? Who knows? But I'm gonna let you know about this one on here. So if you like how that sounds, do me a favor, click like, share, subscribe. And now let's get into the review. Flaming Hot premiered on June 2023 on Hulu. It has a runtime of 1 hour and 39 minutes. It's a semi-biographical look at the real-life story of Richard Montañez. He was a Frito-Lay janitor who used his initiative, hard work, and love for Hispanic heritage to turn it into a billion-dollar industry of snacks and other spicy foods. Now it stars Jesse Garcia as Richard and Annie Gonzalez as his wife, Judy Montañez, plus a couple of notable folks like Dennis Haysbert and Tony Shalhoub. Now, if you're a main coming into a rags to riches story, you want a compelling story. Something that shows the depths from which the protagonist comes from. We have to feel and see how far that they've come, and we have to see the struggle. We got to see the knockdowns, we got to see them getting back up, and we've got to like the main character throughout. At the very least, we have to empathize with them. And fake things that seem implausible will take us out of the moment. Now, for casuals, they want the same things for the character, but the story doesn't have to be as deep for them, but it has to feel real. The extra things that casuals going to look for is entertainment value. If it's a drama, there's got to be a tug at the heartstrings with a couple of dramatic scenes. Or if it's a comedy, give some laugh out loud moments. Let's see how spicy Flaming Hot is. You like it? Okay, maybe you don't. Whatever. Firstly, the characters are very good. Jesse Garcia and Annie Gonzalez really bring it as a team. You feel their desires, their stresses, and their love all the way throughout. I especially like Jesse's ability to convey a lot through his facial expressions and disappointment, joy, determination, all of that. I liked him as Richard. And the supporting cast of my all-state man, Dennis Haysbert, and his de facto mentor relationship with Richard is very good. And Tony Shalhoub as the president of PepsiCo were great. Also, special shout out to Emilio Rivera as Vacho Montez. No matter his role, dude always looks intimidating, but he always has a big heart. The acting and characters are going to be good for both mains and casuals in this. In regards to the story is a pretty good one. We start as far back as Richard's past as a kid, growing up in fruit fields in the 1960s, and the overt and subversive discrimination he went through as a Hispanic in California during those times. Being a high school dropout, running around with gangs, and then trying to become a respectful father are all on the table in this story. And we're told about his ups and downs and working for Frito-Lay in the later years.
Searching for an answer.
It's a good blend of drama with a bit of comedy thrown in. Now for me, one of the most hilarious things was of him giving his thoughts of how corporate conversations would sound if it was coming from a Vato communication style. And it's absolutely hilarious. Think Michael Pena's character in Marvel and how he went ahead and actually his voice and his words, but overlaid on the action that's going on the screen with serious people. It's just an absolute hilarious moment. Come to think of it, that seems to be kind of a good trope of Hispanics wanted in Hollywood, them retelling boring stories in a hilarious manner. Sounds interesting, but I digress. I think something that is a bit overdone was the voiceovers or narration coming from Richard as the story progresses. It was fine in parts, but one of the things that critics complain about, and I mostly agree, is that showing is better than telling in movies. A good filmmaker should be able to show you pain, comedy, struggle, etc. If someone has to narrate big chunks, it's kind of like using Cliff Notes to give a main point. You may hit the highlights, but it's not as meaningful. Overall, I think casuals will like the storytelling a bit more than mains, but it's decent no matter which perspective you come from. Some other things to kind of think about here. I like how deep this went into the Hispanic culture. For how it was, for a large portion of their population from the 60s through the 90s. They're trying to make it in this world just like all families, but sometimes they're the ignored race. Think about it. Black and white people are usually at the forefront in regards to U.S. politics. But for as many Hispanic people that there are in the U.S., they're a distant third in conversation surrounding race. And of course, Asian and Middle Eastern folks have plenty to say about this as well, but Hispanics are so populous in the US, it's crazy that more of their stories aren't mainstream. This movie attempts to do that. Also, after watching this movie, I did see that there are debates as to the full truth of this story. It's heavily embellished, and I'm sure it is, but I've rarely heard of a rags to riches story that isn't a bit. Especially for entertainment or for dramatics. For aesthetics, there's always things that Hollywood adds in to make it that bigger of a deal. But I don't let that stop me from go ahead and actually giving the overall evaluation of a specific movie. But I did want you to go and actually know that I acknowledge that it may not be completely true, as they go ahead and actually say it is inspired by a true story, which means that's Hollywood for we may have done some stuff to kick it up a notch, to make it spicy. But what is my verdict for Flaming Hot? I'm gonna say, for all audiences, this is a must watch. In this one you have characters are check, story check, feel good vibe check. It's done in a way that really makes you want to figure out how to start building your own dream, that it's never too late. I'm not going to say that this is a world buster movie or anything like that. It's not going to win any Oscars, but it is very entertaining from both the dramatic and comedy aspect of things. It's a good story, feel good. You could turn this on every now and again, and if you want to be inspired, you could do way worse than Flaming Hot. I really like this movie. So that's how I feel about Flaming Hot on Hulu. Give it a look.
We want to know that we matter to you. If we knew that there was a product out there for us, we'd say, take all our money, cabrones.
You stayed for the entire review. I appreciate you. Much love to you. Do me a favor, if you did like the review, go ahead and actually click like. If you really, really liked it, subscribe to the channel. Let me go ahead and actually do some more reviews for you. At the very least, you can go ahead and actually click one of these other videos that the algorithm thinks that you might like of mine. But until the next time, I'll holler at you. Take care of yourself.